megabyte. It was a 4 millibyte video.
Millibyte.
Titled
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
The American people blind. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identified with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy, healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes? If you're just joining us, Rudy Giuliani is sweating his face off, explaining to us why Trump really won the election.
Republican inspectors. Every state. Almost every approved this. It's thrown away. Gone for eternity.
Is this a
The
skit?
only thing left is to have been a dead person. That could have been not filled out properly.
Wait, he's saying there was a dead person in the envelope? Rudy's about to have actual drops of sweat coming off of his brow. I mean, is this a normal amount? I don't know how hot it is in the room, but something seems very wrong here.
All be in the lawsuit that comes out tomorrow.
Rudy's melting.
Arizona is a state that we're looking at very, very carefully.
Strongly looking at
I
it.
would say we're probably, I assume,
God.
if she's working for
Fiasco.
I'd like to read them all to you, but I don't have the time. You should have had the time and energy to go look for them. That's your job. Like it's my job to defend the president
Oh
and to
my
represent
God.
the president. It's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada.
Is he bleeding? Did you see? Is he bleeding from his ear? What on earth was that?
Votes needed to
It's on both sides.
to
Oh my
find out if
God.
I'm
Is
misleading.
that hair dye?
Is to look at the lawsuits. In order to do it, I
It
have to
looks
get
like
permission from
blood.
people. But in the materials,
Oh my
I
God,
have
it's
here,
everywhere.
At least 10,000 at least, and we're getting more.
He's got to get off the stage.
And there are other aspects of this fraud. On the morning of November 3rd,
Someone's got to get him a
they
napkin.
were going to count this new kind of ballot.
God,
This
I've
mail-in
never
ballot.
seen anything like this.
Pennsylvania,
What on earth? It's getting onto his shirt
in
now.
Michigan and in Wisconsin, any jury would accept if they heard this evidence that somebody had this plan.
This is insane.
Maybe that was always the plan.
It looks like sap from an oak tree or a maple tree. It looks like someone's making syrup.
To the city describe that to you.
Oh my God, it's all over his face. He's gonna need a towel.
Dealing with
Actual evidence of
I don't know, guys. It's sounding like Trump won, isn't it, based on this?
testify.
All right, welcome everybody. You know, one of the things, I don't know why I find it so funny, but every single time I stream, when our intro thing is up, this thing, people on both Twitch and YouTube start going, David, the video's frozen. It's like, no, it's not, guys. It hasn't started yet. No sound. Anyone else getting sound? David, you're muted. I'm not there. The stream hasn't started yet. It's like every single time it happens. Anybody else getting video? It's like, no. It's just it's like, I mean, come on, guys. Okay. All right, good. By the way, the Mango song reminded me. I bought a mango over the weekend. Wait, no, when did I buy? I bought the mango. No, I bought the mango 8 days ago, and I've just been letting it ripen. It's still not ripening. It's supposed to just give a little bit and smell like mango at the stem end. It's starting to it's like it's skipped ripeness, and part of it's getting a little wrinkled. It's very weird. I would actually blame it on Biden that I have a non-ripening mango. Very, very strange. And also, I was able to get my Granny Smiths today. So that's all happening. Guys, I have so many things to announce and so many things to go over. First and foremost, at the bottom of the hour, not up there, down there at the bottom of the hour, at the bottom of the hour, up under the Biden regime, Joe Biden is going to make an announcement about the infrastructure bill. That's number one. Number two, the stock market has collapsed again. Another crash, okay? Down another 650, the Dow. Up a little bit yesterday, recovering from the nearly 1,000-point decline. This was the big decline, up a little, and then now down even lower. Believed to be because of Omicron or even because of Omicron.
It's called the Omicron.
Exactly.
Omicron.
Right. So thanks to Small Fuzzy Moss for those additional audio elements there. But so now we've got another day of declines. So that's the other thing. And then number three, there has been another of these mass shootings, and we have some clips from it that we're going to be looking at in a moment. A lot of different things happening. So quite an agenda today. And where to even begin. I do want to thank amazing people who are here, including Colderders, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Emily G, Under H2O Diver for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. I appreciate that. You can also use the coupon code OBAMNA to get a membership on my website. All new members will be announced, and in fact, I have one here to announce, and their name is $11 Mango. New member $11 Mango has signed up with the coupon code OBAMNA. His new member number.
Governor Tim Walz, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Senator Tina Smith, and Congresswoman Angie Craig.
All right, so we're gonna wait for Joe Biden there. Let's see a couple other things. I do have another new audio element which I really like. Yesterday I played for you guys. Wow, what an agenda. It's been a long time since we had such a packed agenda. Yesterday I played for you this clip of me at a deli over the weekend.
2 corned beefs on pumpernickel with sauerkraut.
Okay, so 2 corned beefs on pumpernickel with sauerkraut. Small Fuzzy Moss has now turned it into an audio element for me.
2 corned beefs on pumpernickel with sauerkraut.
So now we have that, and I think it would work well mixed in with some of this stuff.
By the way, how are the calzones? Uncharged piccolos? But we have Subway tomorrow. Pizza is here.
Okay. Oh, wait, and I forgot my favorite. Oh, my KFC. Oh, what happened to my KFC? Something happened. All right, anyway, so we have that. So let's see. We've taken care of that. I think that's going to be good. Thank you to Chlomaine for the Twitch Prime subscription. It is the 3rd day of Hanukkah for everybody celebrating. That means, let me see. Okay. Day 1, you do 1 candle. Day 2, you do 2 candles. So today we do 3 candles. 3 candles. It's the 3rd night. Sorry. I always do that. It's the 3rd night of Hanukkah tonight. Yeah, we don't go by days, we go by nights. I apologize for that. Okay, later on, we're going to be playing a new game called Pokimane or Hassan. Then that's the name of the game. I'm not even going to tell you how it's played yet, but the name of the game is Pokimane or Hassan. That's going to be a little bit later. A few super chats coming in. Ferret Queen says the U.S. is 4.25% of the world's population, 18% of the COVID cases, and 15% of the deaths. Exactly right. Exactly right. Thank you to Chess Boyardee for the Twitch Prime subscription. Very much appreciate that. You are truly too kind. People are already saying Pokimane or Hassan. I haven't even explained the rules of the game yet, which is really wild. I have a couple of new... Oh, here's another... Tell me if you guys think I should have this on my soundboard. This is from a clip that we just published. There's one point in a clip today where I list types of beans and another where I list types of pasta. Tell me if you think we need this on the soundboard. You couldn't find black beans. You couldn't find pinto beans. You couldn't find kidney beans. You couldn't find cannellini beans. You couldn't find refried beans. You couldn't find spicy refried beans. You couldn't find fava beans. Okay, I could go on. I'm all right. So that's that's one part where that could be a clip for itself. Okay. And then here is another part where you guys tell me whether this should be a clip. The dry pasta section, empty. No spaghetti, no ziti, no penne, no gnocchi, no pappardelle, no rotini, linguine, angel hair, cavatappi, tagliatelle, fusilli, macaroni, farfalle, conchiglie. You couldn't find lasagna noodles, guys. Okay. All right. So I'm going to suggest two different mimetic layers, okay? Now, different levels of expertise are required to participate. Mimetic layer 1 is simply we put that on the soundboard, okay? And I think we can do that pretty quickly. Mimetic layer 2 is remixing that into a rap song. And that's almost like layer 5, because that would just be incredible. So if any of our remixers like Office Akimov or Officer Akimov, Jethro Bradley, Joe Woodward, anybody wants to do that, I think that would be something else to look at. I want to say thanks to Andrew Walters, who just signed up on my website using the coupon code OBAMNA. Very much appreciate that. Okay, so we dealt with that. Let me see what else I have that's quick, because Joe Biden might speak at any time here. I actually don't really have anything else that's too quick. Let's see what this one is. No, I don't want to do that. No, that's for later. Oh, yeah, okay, let's look at this one. This is the new thing now on Biden. They've moved on from dementia to he has some other kind of illness.
Decision every single time.
I think they also, Mr. Biden, I don't know if it strikes you, but even when he spoke yesterday, he's still sniffling. He still is hoarse. This is somebody
he's a horse.
Weak, and I almost feel like those around him perceive him as weak, and they're trying to enact what their political inclinations are. And we know that that's been the argument all along, is that Mr. Biden ran as a moderate, and he's got...
All right. So I don't know how running as a moderate has to do with him being hoarse and sniffling. That being said, it's not wrong that it is absolutely accurate that Biden has been sniffling. He has had some kind of voice issue and is coughing a lot. It's been going on for weeks and weeks. We're told it's a cold. That's what we're told. I mean, if we have evidence of something else, then certainly we should know about it. Let's put it that way. We should certainly, it could be an allergy, although winter, I don't know about winter allergies. I don't know about that. But in any case, I do want to say thanks to Pack. Oh boy, this is a very aggressive new member. New member Pack Mangoes Deep in My Papaya has signed up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. And is new member number 8 today. I really do appreciate that. I know that new member as Juan, but they want to be known as that other thing I said. So that's fine. If that's what they want. I will oblige that. A little strange, but all right. Hello, Moro says David's production value is appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. We are standing by for Joe Biden, and we have a ton of other stuff to look at today. So I hope that everybody will stand by. We may talk about ivermectin. But I'm not totally sure yet. Let's listen to a little bit of what's happening here.
Jobs, union jobs. It is going to boost the economies and the communities where these students live and work. And if you're worried about workforce shortages, if that's a problem.
All right, so we're really going to focus in on the Joe Biden piece of it. Some of you will find very, very interesting that now as the Ghislaine, some people say Ghislaine, that I can't imagine that's the right name. I'm told it's Ghislaine. Ghislaine Maxwell's trial is underway, and as a result, Jeffrey Epstein's airplane pilot testified today and identified Donald Trump as a passenger on the Epstein jet and William Jefferson Clinton as a passenger on the jet, as well as others, said he did not witness any sex acts. But it's very funny because yesterday, Lauren Boebert started saying the left is very worried about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. It's like Trump's literally on the plane. So is Clinton. I don't think it is a left-right thing. I think that there are a lot of people who potentially are going to be exposed by this trial. But Trump and Clinton among the famous people on the Epstein jet. And I would be worried. As far as if I were certain people, I would at least theoretically be worried that it's not going to go so well in this trial. David, did you read the article stating how the USA is becoming a backsliding democracy? Yes, I have a video clip on it, which you can check out from last week. I want to say thanks to Nick Lovin as well as Apocrypha, new members 9 and 10 via Twitch Prime today. We will open phone lines if we get to 100. This is the last opportunity to open phone lines for the month, mostly because at least on the East Coast, there's only 7.5 hours left in the month. That's really what it's driven by. Oh, speaking of which, I do want to let everybody know because there was such interest last time. We've scheduled the next viewer town hall. I would love all of you to, at minimum, watch, if not call in. So, just like last time, the David Pakman Show viewer tip. Please write this down so that I don't get the same questions about it, okay? Viewer town hall. When? December 14th, 2021. That's the when. What time? 6 p.m. Eastern. That's it. It's not on any other day, and it's not at any other time. December 14th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Where? Only the Pakman Live YouTube channel. We are now dangerously close to 15,000 subscribers on the new channel. Okay? You can find all of the latest clips from the live streams on the Pakman Live channel. That's the only place it will be streaming. So, when? 6 p.m. December 14th. Where? The Pakman Live YouTube channel. Who can participate? Everybody. Okay? It will be via Discord. We are going to have one channel for everybody who wants to call in. We will have an additional channel for members. Members get special handling. It's sort of like when you have status with an airline and they drive you to the plane in a Porsche. Porsche or Porsche? Porsche. I'm not even sure how it's pronounced. Anyway, or an Audi. There will be, so if you do sign up on my website, you are quite literally more than twice as likely to be able to get on. Porsche. That can't be right. Okay, so that's just another benefit of signing up on my website. But I'm very much looking forward to it. The first one we did, we took close to like 70 calls, and it was tremendous. It was just fantastic. Brandon from St. Louis says, David, when is the next viewer town hall and where can we watch it? That's a really good question. Very, very good question. Preemptively submitting my first answer as Hassan. Okay. Thanks to Regional Manager Vader for the Twitch Prime subscription. It is great to be back on Twitch. We love being on Twitch. And it's really great to be on. All sorts of questions will be allowed. Financial questions, food-related questions, political questions, cultural, film, television, books. All questions are welcome. I may have no answer for some of the questions, but questions are allowed. The questions will be allowed. Man, a lot of really strange people in the chat today. Very, very strange. Okay, before we continue forward, I think it's probably just a moment before... Actually, this may be Joe Biden coming up now. This is just the beginning of the stream, guys, because we have so much happening. Okay. They need to put that thing on there. Very good. In the meantime, we'll listen to a voicemail or two. Here is Eric from Mass with another anti-vax screed.
Hey, David, Eric from Mass. It's undeniable now. Forbes magazine or Forbes online or whatever just came out and said,
Whatever.
Yeah, the vaccines change your DNA. Look it up. Try and deny that. Try and deny all the other stuff. So you have different DNA now because, hey, get out some more boosters, dude. Boosters. Get your boosters, dude.
Yeah, I got my booster. It was pretty good, actually. Eggman called in.
Hi, guys. Regarding the man that shot and killed his young daughter in a hunting accident, he should be completely charged with murder, 100% murder.
Wow.
Thank you. I have no further comment on that. But if you want further comment on that, how do we know what was going through the guy's mind? You know? Maybe he feared for his life. Maybe it was just self-defense. Maybe he hated his daughter. She was ruining his life. He wanted to divorce the daughter's mom. That kid was in the way, always in trouble, ruining his relationship. Maybe it was on purpose. We do not know why he murdered that little girl.
True.
Because of that, he needs to be charged. We never know what's in the mind of the guy that brings an AK and murders two BLM guys. We don't know what he was thinking. But this guy, I'm sure his thoughts were absolutely pure, right? Oh, he was a white guy too, by the way, right? I'm sure of that. Had to bring that in. Okay, I hope you didn't play this horrible message. Shalom, guys. Colombian Soylent.
Oh my God. The Eggman just completely shot out of a cannon today. Not even sure. He must be on something. Something, maybe like a triple shot of something. It's wild. Let's see.
Hey, Pac-Man. Hey, Pac-Man. When are you going to have Andrew Nidge on your show? Talk about artificial intelligence.
Yikes. All right. I guess we'll do one Whitney voicemail.
Hey, David, it's Whitney. I was just looking at this, and it's talking about Benjamin Shapiro video or something. There's so many voicemails that might have been way more relevant.
All right. Let's get back to Joe Biden.
Elements of medical.
Please proceed, brother.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sarah Herzon, and I'm a first-year student here at Dakota County Technical College. I'm in the Heavy Construction Equipment Technology program, and I'm working towards my associate's degree. I grew up in Eden Prairie and graduated from Minnetonka High School in 2018. Sorry, my bad. A little about myself. I enlisted in the Minnesota Army National Guard on my 17th birthday.
And ironically, one of my favorite things is when Biden urges everybody to sit the hell down.
I was deployed in October 2019, where I spent 13 months in Kuwait. While I was deployed, I worked on all of our large vehicles as well as all the power generation and AC equipment. With being the only 91 Delta tactical power generation specialist, I oversaw the maintenance of 400 power generation and AC units. I also cross-trained the whole time on all of the vehicles such as the Humvees, the LMTVs, FMTVs, Hemmets, everything that you could think of that does not have tracks. When I returned from deployment, I was wondering, now what? What should I do with my life now? I started looking for a program that I could utilize my military experience as well as what I've known since growing up.
Right.
And I found Dakota County Technical College right in my backyard. My journey at DCTC started in January as part of the Heavy Construction Equipment Program. This semester, we are learning how to fix electrical issues on the equipment, applied failure analysis, shop safety, engine overhaul, as well as welding. This program has given me the opportunity to receive an internship at Caterpillar, which I am so grateful.
Yeah, I would be more interested in military-grade hummus rather than Hummers. I would want to know, what are they doing to make it so powerful?
And hire on a whole female team. I want... I want to serve as an example for other women that we too can be in the trades. With having this degree, as well as my military experience in heavy equipment, it will set me ahead of others in my field. I am so happy to have this opportunity to welcome President Joe Biden to my home state, as well as my school, Dakota County Technical College. Thank you so much.
Whoa. Sarah, thank you for the introduction. I was saying to Sarah in the back, because when I was Sarah's age, the idea that I'd be standing waiting to introduce a president, no matter who it was, I would find a little daunting. And I was trying to reassure her, but obviously she didn't need any reassurance whatsoever. Zero. And thank you for your service to the United States military. Zero. Thank you. Governor, thanks for the welcome to Minnesota. I was telling the governor on the way in the ride here from the airport that I started coming to Minnesota back in 1973 because one of my mentors, for real, it ended up being two, was Hubert Humphrey. When he helped me campaign in 1972 as a 29-year-old candidate for the United States Senate, my home state of Delaware. And he gave me credibility I'm not sure I deserve, but it helped a great deal. And after I got elected, I wasn't old enough to be sworn in. I had to wait to be eligible. You have to be 30 years old to be sworn in. Your constituents can elect you at any age, but you can't be sworn in until you're 30. And while I was in Washington, making sure that I was hiring my staff, I got a phone call from my fire department saying there'd been an accident.
Seems to be some kind of audio issue.
On the phone, had to say, she just blurted out, "Your wife and daughter are dead, and your kids won't make it." My wife was Christmas shopping and was broadsided by a tractor trailer. My point about it is that one of the first persons to come to me were the Humphreys, not just the senator. And then a guy who became a great friend and mentor was
isn't there crazy reverb
as well? So I've been from the Iron Range all the way down to your southeastern border, and it's an incredible state, and they've elected some incredible people, including the people you heard from earlier today, which I'll speak to a little bit in a minute. I see a lot of mayors are here, I told you that's the toughest job in America. They know where you live. But it really is. You affect people's lives more than anybody else.
It reminds me of this.
And our incredible, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. The Biden.
I served in Congress for a long time, and I'm delighted for him being here. Before I get into my remarks in any detail, I was informed after the tour, I learned about a school shooting in Michigan. We learned, as we learned the full details, my heart goes out to the families enduring the unimaginable grief of losing a loved one. Apparently, there were somewhere in the order of 9 people shot, and three, I think, are dead. And the young man, I think, as I understand it from staff, is about 15 years old. Yep. And he turned himself in. Just and he claimed his right against self-incrimination and handed over his pistol. That's all we know about it, but you've got to know that that whole community has to be just in a state of shock right now. But look, one of the things that I want to mention is I want to tell you about the infrastructure law I signed on Thanksgiving. And it would not be possible, this is not hyperbole, without the Minnesota congressional delegation. Senator Amy Klobuchar is a leader in many issues. Her colleagues look to her on everything from lowering the cost of prescription drugs to how to get broadband.
I don't find these speeches super inspiring either. I'm with a lot of the audience on that. Listen, I choose this over Trump any day.
And not only do her colleagues call for advice, her president calls her for advice. And you know that's true. And Senator Tina Smith, she's also led on making sure that Minnesotans and all Americans get access to high-speed internet. Senator Smith is making sure that the infrastructure and Build Back Better investments are going to help fight both the causes and the effects of climate change. And Representative Angie Craig, who I'm going to get to ride home with, she's going to get an Air Force One when going back, spend a little time with her. She had a better means of transportation getting out here. I don't know what it was, but all kidding aside.
That's kind of funny.
She's worked in the infrastructure law. She constantly reminds us that it's places like Dakota County, and it's connecting people to jobs and opportunities. And that's why Angie has always been a champion of schools like DCTC and investments in roads and bridges and high-speed internet. And Representative Dean Phillips. Dean, where are you? Dean, from the very beginning, Dean has led getting bipartisan support to get this deal done. And you'd think this would be a slam dunk, but we did it without all but a few Republicans being able to come across and vote for it. But thank you for the work you did, Dean. I really mean it. And Betty McCollum. Betty's been fighting for a strong infrastructure package for more than a little bit of time. There you are, Betty. And but I also want to acknowledge a few other people who couldn't be here today. Your Attorney General Ellison is such a fighter for justice, and Representative Omar. Is he here? Oh, okay. I was going to say, I totally would remind us we all need to invest in our people and universal pre-care and affordable child care. Look, here's what this is all about. Rebuilding America. Getting this done. No, rebuilding in America, investing in America. That's what this is about. And we're doing it as we continue to battle the pandemic. As I told the American people yesterday, this new variant is a cause of concern, but not a cause to panic. On Thursday, I'll put forward a detailed strategy outlining how we're going to fight this COVID this winter, not with shutdowns and lockdowns, but with more widespread vaccination, boosters, testing, and much more. In the meantime,
shouldn't he be threatening people's jobs over the audio?
Getting fully vaccinated, getting a booster shot. I urge all Americans who haven't yet to get that done. Get it done today. We're going to keep fighting through this with every tool we have. And we are, as we did with the original virus and with the Delta virus variant. And we're also going to keep our historic economic growth moving. One of the ways we're going to do that is with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law that we signed into law 2 weeks ago. Over the next several weeks, I'm going to be traveling all over the country. And so will Vice President Harris and my cabinet and folks throughout our administration to show how these investments are going to change your lives, change lives for the better. Because we know that we can't just build back to what it was before. That used to be the rule. If anything got wiped out by a weather event, you're able to build back that road to exactly the specifications it was before. But you can't now, because the climate's not going to get better. Hopefully we're not going to get worse, but you're going to have to build that road a couple feet higher. You can't build it back to what it was. You can't replace those high power lines that come down with the same kind of construction. They have to be built so they're more resilient.
Build them back better.
That's what I mean when I say build back better.
Right.
It's necessary. And, you know, schools like DCTC are going to help us do just that. Places like this, we're going to train the next generation of workers to do the jobs that my infrastructure law and our Build Back Better Act are going to put into even greater demand. We're going to need more qualified people. And we're talking about students learning how to repair electric vehicles and battery drivetrains, which our major auto manufacturers say will be 40 to 50% of all vehicles in the United States of America by the year 2030.
Let's hope.
Becoming line workers, we'll need to modernize our electric grid, and commercial electricians who can help us install 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. We're going to put in, including along the highways we're building, so you never have to worry about running out of power. You'll be able to travel from
That I'm behind.
Training as construction managers to oversee all phases of construction projects we're going to be seeing all across Minnesota, like the Twin Port Interchange and Ports Interchange in Duluth, and the Link Project in Rochester. These are the jobs of today and tomorrow. We're going to help America win the competition of the 21st century. We're getting back in the game. And the better part of the 20th century, for the better part, we led the world by a significant margin because we invested in ourselves and our people. We invested in our infrastructure, in our roads, our highways, our bridges, our ports, our airports, the arteries of our nation that allow commerce to function smoothly and move swiftly. And we invested in our people. We invested in opportunity in the past. But we were among the first to provide access to free education in the late 1800s, early 1900s, which had us leap ahead of the rest of the world, the first nation in the world with universal education. We invested to win the space race. We led the world in research and development that led to the creation of the internet. But somewhere along the way, we stopped investing. And we're at risk of losing our edge as a nation to China and the rest of the world that's catching up and surpassing us in some areas. Our infrastructure used to be rated the best in the world, not hyperbole, was rated the best in the world. But according to the World Economic Forum, we now rank 13th in the world in terms of the quality of our infrastructure. And we're turning things around in a big way now. It starts with roads and bridges. In 2007, this state sounded the national alarm of our decaying infrastructure when the I-35 bridge collapsed, killing 13 people and injuring another 140. In the United States of America, a major bridge on a highway collapsed. This is America, for God's sake. We know about our infrastructure problems. We've known it for a long time. Now we're finally doing something about it. No more talking. Time for action. Time for action.
Right.
Folks, this law makes significant investments in our roads and bridges, and the largest investment in nearly 70 years. Fixing so many of the 661 bridges, nearly 5,000 miles of highway here in Minnesota, just Minnesota, that are in poor condition. Those decaying roads cost Minnesota drivers an extra $543 a year in gas, repairs, and longer commute times. Every family. That's $543 in hidden taxes for Minnesota families. And by the way, we might even be able to get something done fixing County Road 42 train crossing.
That'll be good.
We have one in Delaware. We have a train crossing what used to be the General Motors plant. I've counted as many 142 cars sitting there for about 10 hours waiting to cross. No way out. Look, this law includes the most significant investment in passenger rail in the past 50 years and in public transportation ever. And here in Minnesota, it means replacing transit vehicles that are past their useful life, switching from diesel to electric, getting more people where they have to go, safer, faster, and cleaner. And it means more projects like the Orange Line, which is having its grand opening on Saturday and is connecting communities all along I-35 West with bus rapid transit, making it easier and faster to commute from Burnsville to Bloomington, to Richville, to major job centers in downtown Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to corporate headquarters like U.S. Bank and Best Buy and Target. It's going to change things. This law invests $42 billion to modernize our ports and our airports, The Port of Duluth is the largest port in the Great Lakes, or the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, one of the busiest airports in the Midwest. Make it easier for companies to get goods to market, reducing supply chain bottlenecks, lowering costs for families, making sure that what you need gets to your ships, your trucks and trains, and eventually your home on time. Of course, that's not all this law achieves. The law will start to replace 100% of the nation's lead pipes in the United States American services. A recent survey estimates there are 260,000 or more lead pipelines just here in Minnesota, just Minnesota, and will help communities like Coast build connections to water treatment facilities so every single child in Minnesota and across America can turn on a faucet and drink clean water. Without their parents worrying about how forever chemicals, you ever think you'd hear that phrase 20 years ago, forever chemicals, are in the ground, how they're impacting on the health and
We would have heard it if the corporations pumping them out hadn't covered up their own research.
Overdue. We're going to need tens of thousands of plumbers and pipe fitters to do the work, and they'll get paid a prevailing wage with benefits. And the ability to build a middle-class life. The law is going to make high-speed internet affordable and available everywhere in America and create jobs laying down the broadband lines. Today, 12% of Minnesotans and households don't have internet subscriptions. And in some places, there's no broadband infrastructure at all. This law is going to make high-speed internet affordable and available everywhere in Minnesota, urban, suburban, and rural. Over $20 billion. In the 21st century in America, no parent ever should have to sit outside a fast food restaurant to be able to hook up to the internet so their child can do their homework online. Think about that. The law also builds up our resilience against extreme weather events, which Minnesota is no stranger to, like wildfires this summer in Superior National Forest that sent smoke into the Twin Cities, and tornadoes that touched down in Burnsville and Apple Valley in September, or the heavy rains that have closed roads and contaminated wells in this area in the past. Nationally, last year, extreme weather cost the United States government $99 billion, just last year. I was out when those forest fires out in California and Nevada, in that area, and it's astounding. More timber and homes and business have been burnt to the ground this past fire season than the entire square miles of the state of New Jersey from New York City all the way down to Cape May. That's how much burned to the ground. Nothing there. I flew over in helicopters. Nothing. And you see reservoirs down 40, 50, 60 feet, worrying about whether the Colorado River is going to continue to flow. This is dire stuff, but all within our capacity to deal with. This law builds back our bridges, our water systems, our power lines, our electric grid better and stronger, more resilient and resistant to the negative impacts and effects of climate change. So few Americans will be flooded out of their homes or lose power for days and weeks after a storm. Down in Louisiana, I have with me, who now works with me and handles a big chunk of what I have to do, former chairman of the Black Caucus in the Congress, Cedric Richmond. Cedric had me down in Louisiana, New Orleans. That storm that hurricane went through had high wind peak at 178 miles per hour. But you know what? When I went from there up to North Jersey and New York, more people died in Queens, Manhattan because of 20 inches of rain falling and their basements flooding so they couldn't get out. More people died there than did in the hurricane in New Orleans. Folks, there's so much more in the law. Most of all, this law does something truly historic. It's going to help rebuild the backbone of this nation. Working people in the middle class. When I ran for president, I said I was running for 3 reasons. One, to restore the soul of the country, to restore some decency to how we dealt with one And two, to rebuild the backbone of the country. Hard-working, middle-class folks and working-class folks who built the country. The folks in Wall Street aren't bad, but they didn't build America. The people who come out of the school are the ones that build America. They built America, and they've been left behind for much too long. We're going to rebuild this economy from the bottom up and the middle out. I've never known a time when the middle class has done well that the very wealthy haven't done very, very well.
True.
I'm not being solicitous. I'm being deadly earnest. But I'm tired of this trickle-down economy. I'm tired of it. This is a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. And the only way this works is if the blue-collar Americans do the building. And that's the only way it's ever worked. And we're going to do it again. Mark my words. Mark my words. The same goes for my plan to build back better for our people. For example, the cost of a 2-year degree in Minnesota is nearly $6,000 a year. Over a third of the students at DCTC receive Pell Grants. My Build Back Better plan is going to increase the maximum Pell Grant award by another $550 to make it more affordable. We're going to invest an unprecedented $10 billion in job training programs at schools like this one, and expand registered apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeship programs. And very importantly, this bill will deliver universal preschool to every 3- and 4-year-old in America. Folks,
hear a baby screaming in the background?
Study found that the low-income children participating in a preschool program were 47% more likely to go on and earn an associate or a higher degree after getting through 12 years of school without problems. We have to build the foundation for success. My wife, Jill, is a community college professor and has been for some time. She always points out, any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. It's a simple proposition. Look what the rest of the world is doing. Look what the rest of the world is doing. China is investing billions of dollars in early education. I can go down the list. Look, this Build Back Better plan is also going to ensure that parents can afford child care. And the child care workers can actually get a raise, and a raise they deserve, and more education. If you're paying $14,000 for child care like a lot of Minnesota families do, my Build Back Better plan is going to make it a giant difference in your life, because your child care costs will be capped at 7% of your income. 7%. That's it. 7% of your income. That's going to make a huge difference for the economy overall, but for millions of workers who had to drop out of the workforce, not because they wanted to, because they couldn't find available child care, especially the 2 million women who left the workforce during this COVID crisis. If you're one of the millions of Americans paying too much for insulin, my Build Back Better plan is going to change that as well, because we're going to lower prescription drug costs. And that means you won't pay more than $35 a month for your insulin. It's important not only from a health standpoint, from a standpoint of personal dignity. Imagine if you're a parent of one of the 200,000 children in this country with type 1 diabetes needing that insulin. Insulin can cost as much as $1,000 a month. If you can't afford it, it's not only a health risk, but deprives the parent of their dignity. Deprives them of their dignity, of your ability to do the one thing every parent wants and deserves to be able to do, to say to their child, look at them and say, honey, it's going to be okay. Imagine not being able to say that. And by the way, we're not artificially reducing that cost. It costs $35 for the insulin when it was first invented and patented. They've done not a single thing since then to improve it. It's good.
Get vaccinated.
Now, it costs $1,000 a month. Folks, lowering the cost of child care, elder care, housing, health care, prescription drugs, and meeting the moment of climate change, that's what this plan does. Frankly, I'm surprised that not a single Republican in Congress has joined us in supporting it. It can't be because it would add to inflation. 17 Nobel laureates, 17, 3 weeks ago, spontaneously sent me a letter saying that it would have the opposite effect. It would actually reduce long-term inflationary pressures. It can't be because it would add to the deficit, because it reduces the deficit over the long term. It can't be because it's fiscally responsible, because it's fully paid for. Fully paid for. No one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay a single penny more in federal taxes. 55%. I come from the corporate state of America, Delaware. More corporations are incorporated in Delaware than every other nation in every other, state in the nation.
Yeah. I've been reading about New Mexico for
55%
LLCs.
of the Fortune 500 companies, the largest ones, paid zero in income taxes last year after making $40 billion in profits. I'm a capitalist. If you can make $1 million or $1 billion, have at it. Just pay your fair share. That's all I'm asking. That's why the Build Back Better plan has a minimum tax that makes sure the large profitable corporations start paying their fair share. And we got passed internationally a provision that a 15% minimum is paid in every single country, so you don't have countries fleeing here with technology to go other places because they have a lower tax rate. The first major piece of legislation in more than a decade that's not only fully paid for, based on official estimates from the Congressional Budget Office, the Joint Committee on Taxation, the Treasury Department, it's going to generate more than $100 billion in deficit reduction this decade. So look, I know some people have said this bill isn't fiscally responsible enough, because even though it's fully paid for, they acknowledge, even though it would reduce the deficit, which they acknowledge, even though it represents the first time in over a decade that we're doing the hard work of offsetting investments with new revenue, some of the programs may get extended. And if they get extended, they say it's going to cost more money. We didn't count that in. Well, that's true. Congress is going to pay for those as well. After years of Republican leadership in Washington, passing tax giveaways to the super wealthy, new spending without even giving a thought about how to pay for it, they added $8 trillion to the national debt with the Trump tax cut. $8 trillion. I welcome a serious conversation about how to pay for the investments we make. But here is what those critics are not telling you. They're not telling you that I've committed to paying for every single program that extended, if any are, in future legislation, whether that's for a day or a decade. And here's what else they're not telling you. They're not telling you why it is that they are fighting so hard against lowering the prices of prescription drugs, or child care, or elder care, or health care. Why it is that they're so frightened, so hard to fighting so incredibly hard to protect the 2017 Trump tax cuts that increased the deficit alone by nearly $2 trillion, the bulk of which went to large corporations and virtually none of it paid for. I'm happy to have that debate on about how to pay for these priorities. In my Build Back Better plan, we're already undoing some of the most reckless elements of the Trump tax bill, like ending the tax breaks for companies sending jobs overseas. You got a tax cut for sending a job overseas. But other tax giveaways in the bill that expire, that bill expires in 2025. It has to be reauthorized. For example, the tax rate for the 1% wealthiest Americans used to be 39.6%. They make it sound like it used to be 70% or something. 39.6%, what it was in the Bush administration. The Trump tax cut that to 37%. Just by restoring that tax back to 39.7, what it was in the Bush years, just by doing that would generate an additional $20 billion a year in revenue, enough to pay for universal preschool for all 3 and 4 years old, all the way through. So folks, we're going to face a choice. Do we keep giving tax cuts to the wealthiest 1% of the taxpayers, or do we keep lowering costs for working families? You know, I think we have something like 730-some billionaires in America. That's fine. You make $1 billion, I'm okay with that. But you know what? You know how much money when everybody was losing money during the recession? the pre-recession? You know how much money those 739, I think it is, made? Another $1 trillion.
Right.
You hear me now? Those 735, whatever the number is, made an additional $1 trillion in that year and a half. Trillion. I didn't hear anybody weeping and gnashing their teeth about any of that. If they want to argue about continuing tax cuts for big corporations and wealthiest Americans, more important than lowering the cost of child care, lowering prescription drug prices, that's an argument I'm happy to have. I'm looking forward to that debate.
In all seriousness, guys, it's insane that 800 people are watching on the official White House channel and 3,000 people are watching on our YouTube channel, never mind the other platforms. Like that, I don't know what, it must mean something, but it's not great.
And I was in 17,000 miles with him in China. And he turned to me in one of our many one-on-one meetings with an interpreter each and asked me, he said, can you define America for me? I said, yes, in one word, possibilities. Think about it. No other nation in the world, one of the reasons why we think we're ugly Americans, no other nation in the world believes that anything we set our minds to, we can do. It's called the Omicron. We've never failed. Folks, we didn't come this nation we know by dreaming small. Throughout our history, we've emerged from crisis by investing in ourselves. During and after the Civil War, during the Civil War it started, the Transcontinental Railroad, uniting the East Coast and the West Coast. During the Cold War, we built the interstate highway system, transformed how Americans live their lives. And now we're going to build an economy of the 21st century. I truly believe that 50 years from now, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart,
please,
historians are going to look back on this moment and the next several years, and they're going to say that this was the moment when America won the competition for the 21st century. Because if we don't, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it. So folks, there's nothing we can't do. When the American people set their mind to something, there's never been anything we cannot do. And there's never been a crisis we've got into that we haven't come out stronger than before we went into it. That's who we are. That's America. Well, God bless you all, and may God protect our troops, and thanks for your patience.
There it is, folks. Very, very powerful. We have so much to go over. I do hope that you guys will stick around. We've got to talk about the shooting. We're going to play Hassan or Pokimane. We're going to be looking at so many different things. I do want to say thanks to Inez Williamson, who made a Patreon pledge during Joe Biden's speech. Patreon counts twice today, putting us at 13. Also, a huge thank you to Shot X Thomas, Hippie Chick, Lord LeBrand, and Mazer Bao for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. It's a beautiful day, as ever, to re-up that Twitch Prime subscription. Joe Biden very strongly speaking to folks. Who's got a hand on his back? Someone's like tapping his back. Kind of weird. Right. Anybody know if this is a live band or if they pump the music in? I genuinely have no idea. Okay. I think we're done with that. All right, let's move on. So, sadly, there was a shooting, another shooting today. Okay. And this one was at a school. It is believed that we really don't know the death toll. Here is some reporting on this. Let's start kind of going through it. It is, another day in the United States, right?
This is the overhead scene of where this went down. This is Oxford High School, about 12:55 p.m. We understand one suspect, one person with a gun, apparently opened fire inside of the high school. Not clear what part of the high school, where this was taking place. Yeah. But inside of Oxford High School, we know that that person with a handgun opened fire, at least striking 4 to 6 people. We know that 4 to 6 people had been hurt Not clear if those are students, faculty, staff.
Okay. Here is a message about the status of the suspect, perpetrator, who is in custody but not saying anything.
The suspect fired multiple shots. There's multiple victims. It's unfortunate I have to report that we have 3 deceased victims right now who are all believed to be students. We have 6 others that were shot. 1 was a school teacher. They're all at local hospitals being treated for various injuries. Multiple shots were fired. He did not give us any resistance when he was taken into custody. He's currently being transported back to Pontiac for potential. He's already invoked his right to not speak. So he wants an attorney. He's not telling us anything at this point in time.
All right, so that's what we know. Little more here.
Yes, it's a 15-year-old student who is a sophomore at the high school.
As he said before he invoked attorney, did he say anything about what precipitated this?
I'm not going to get into that.
Wow. Okay. Then here is a question to the Oxford superintendent about school security.
I really don't have anything more to say other than that you certainly can pray for our families here in Oxford and our students. I'm learning information real time just as you all are, so I really don't have any more info to add.
Shed any light on who the student is, a 15-year-old?
I can't know.
What's your reaction to this?
Oh, of course I'm shocked. It's devastating.
Superintendent, can you say and spell your name, please, sir?
Tim Throne, Throne.
So you had a lot of things in place. One point of entry when school is open. These students get ALICE training as well. I know that students and teachers teachers are able to communicate with one another. You also have this point of safety that you're able to get students to as well. Can you talk to me about why you didn't have metal detectors?
No.
Okay.
That's my answer to your question, no.
Okay. Is that something that's ever come up?
Not that I can recall, no.
Do you have any background information on the student? Have there been any issues with this student prior to today?
Not yet.
You know who the student is?
We don't know the name. I don't know the names of the victims yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that family's been contacted yet.
Okay.
So we still got our homework to do.
Certainly.
Let us go do it, and
yeah,
we'll
no,
come
of course
back
you
to
do, and we know that this is difficult, so we appreciate you talking. So one other thing, Superintendent.
It's crazy that it's like, wait, you didn't have metal detectors at the school? That's crazy. Obviously, you had a shooting. I mean, it's like, it's crazy and it's not crazy. Like, this is so common that it starts to be a question where it's like, well, obviously you should be running all the kids through a metal detector, right, sir? What a crazy, crazy situation. Meanwhile, Fox running a headline, there's a nationwide Santa shortage. People wanting to hire Santa up 121%. Available Santas, however, are down 10%. I wonder if there is something about that job that is leading to fewer people wanting to be Santa. I wonder if that job paid more, you would have more people wanting to do it. I don't know. I don't know enough about Santa to be able to say for sure. So that's all a little strange. Excellent interview today with Nicholas Christakis that I would encourage many of you to check out. I wanted to look briefly. He talks about Omicron. Let me see if we can find it.
And, I to formulate a provisional opinion as of November the 30th about Omicron.
Here we go.
So my opinion is that this variant probably is roughly as transmissible to somewhat more transmissible than the Delta variant. It's more intrinsically infectious, or as intrinsically infectious as Delta, approximately, or slightly more intrinsically infectious than Delta. I'm pretty confident about that. So that's bad. The hints in the data are that it's probably not more deadly than Delta. We don't know for sure. I'm not as confident about that prediction.
Yeah.
But I think that's likely. And on the so-called immune escape, does it evade the vaccines or not? It's too early to tell. I think it probably significantly reduces the efficacy of the vaccine in terms of spreading, and somewhat reduces the efficacy of the vaccine in terms of killing you. But I'm not confident about those assessments, and it will take a few weeks. We'll get some hints within a couple of weeks from in vitro studies, and then a couple of months or so before we begin to see epidemiological studies that assess this.
So that's the trajectory on Omicron, or as some people are referring to it, Omicron.
Omicron. It's called the Omicron.
Exactly. And it is sort of like a panopticon, I guess we would potentially say, as far as that goes. Okay. Let's, big thank you to Tama Jinx, Monty Un, and Ryan Rincon for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Very much appreciate that. You can also grab a membership on my website, joinpacman.com. The coupon code today is OBAMNA, which saves you 68%. All right, guys, let's play a game. Here's going to be the game. Okay, we are going to play a game called Hassan or Pokimane. Hassan or Pokimane, two prominent Twitch streamers. I am ready to pull up their current streams. They are both stream. Actually, let me even make sure of that before we go forward. Yes, they are both streaming right now. Okay, so here's going to be the game. We are simultaneously going to put up a poll on YouTube and Twitch. Unfortunately, if you are over on Facebook right now, you're not going to be able to participate. And it is going to be who is doing a more entertaining stream right now, Hassan or Pokimane? Now, there are obviously all sorts of factors that are going to influence this. Some of you are going to say Hassan merely because you are in the sort of political space and Pokimane does something else. So you're all going to say Hassan already. Others are going to be maybe for reasons of attractiveness and titillation. You guys are going to say, well, it's Pokimane and not Hassan. So there's going to be all these different factors that are going to be, problems for us. But we're going to see what the audience thinks. And the question is going to be, who's more entertaining right now? Whose stream is more, or which stream is more entertaining right now? And it is going to be Hassan or Pokey. Okay? I'm going to try to get the exact same. How do I get a poll going on Twitch? Hold on. Poll. Does it have to be done as a prediction? How do we do it? God, I don't even do it. I don't even know how to do it on Twitch. Maybe moderators can help me on Twitch, okay? And even better, for everybody saying you don't know who they are, that's exactly the best. That's exactly the best, okay? If you don't know who they are, you're just going to analyze that. Can someone help me get a poll going on Twitch? /poll, okay. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So you can vote on either or both, whatever you want to do. We're curious to see what the audience will prefer, okay? So, Hassan, Pokimane. Okay. And we'll run it for, I'm not going to start it quite yet, okay? First, we're going to watch, all right? First, let's see what is Hassan up to right now. Oh, why don't we have audio? Okay, here we go.
About why he's exactly a fucking grifter.
My
okay?
brain
That's
is
Oh, wait, now hold on. Here we go. Okay, Hassan, let's listen. What's he doing?
My father's name is Mehmet. That's literally Dr. Oz's first name. Like, I have so many reasons to want to like Dr. Oz. He's Turkish. He has the same name as my dad. He's a prominent Turkish American who has, brought great fucking joy and pride to Turks all around the world,
Okay, let's see now what Pokey is up to for comparison.
You obsessed.
Oh my god, you guys can use
Emma's
the
running for mayor.
private rooms when I open my club.
Period. I heard that.
I got the purple part.
Pictures. I'm so excited.
How do I get less stressed? Can I eat?
Mary's running for mayor
to get less
too?
stress.
What the fuck?
Mary Mushkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to vote soon. All right, one more look at each of these. What is Hassan up to? The question will be, which is more entertaining right now?
The reason why I'm not going to cover it yet is because it's a breaking news story. I don't know enough to go on about a breaking news school shooting. Okay?
Do the bad takes
Please
again?
stop. Please stop spamming to cover the fucking school shooting.
Right.
Yes, another school shooting just.
All right, and then last shot over here.
No, I wish.
Girl, we're getting a try.
It's okay. I'm skinny lately.
There's a guy in the city named Bo. He gives the best hugs, and they're very de-stressing.
That's the cute.
All right, everybody, let's go to the vote. You can now vote, and let's see what my audience thinks about which of these two streams is more entertaining right now. There has been debate as to what does my audience prefer. There is a live poll happening right now on Twitch. There is a live poll happening right now on YouTube as well. We are going to run it just a few minutes, three minutes total. You can vote. It's just a completely unscientific exploration. I want to say thanks to Jeffrey Thompson, who just signed up at joinpacman.com and is a new member number 21 today. I really appreciate that. Also, thank you to Actual One and Hack Fooey for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, numbers 22 and 23. Also, Wheelie Cat Lady has made a Twitch Prime subscription on Twitch, which I very much appreciate. We are voting right now who my audience prefers on the basis of today's stream, Hassan or Pokey. And we have about, how much time do we have left? We're about halfway through. You can get your votes in. For the time being, by about a 2-to-1 margin, the YouTube audience preferring Hassan. And by about a 2-to-1 audience, the Twitch audience preferring, 2-to-1 margin, the Twitch audience preferring Hassan. Very interesting. Almost exactly the same results. Very close. Remaining right there. 600 people have voted on YouTube. Only about 160 have voted on Twitch. Still holding that 2-to-1 margin. 2-to-1 margin. Yeah, that's, if you've heard of neither, that's better. It's better if people are like, this doesn't work. Well, I haven't heard of these people. That's good. That means you have no preconceived notion. That's what we like. The point is just to, there has been debate among the audience as to whether my audience is more of a Hassan audience or a Pokey audience. The argument for Hassan is that he's in the political space. They're both just well-known streamers. The counter would be Hassan is an actual socialist, I guess. I don't even know if that's true. And so me not being a socialist, maybe it would actually be people prefer Pokey. I have no idea. Let's see. How long do we have to go? Looks like about 30 seconds. Thanks to Prepare for Glory for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 25 today. I appreciate that as well. Down to about the last 20 seconds here. Still by a very, very strong 2-to-1 margin. Hassan ahead of Pokey on the YouTube poll. And Hassan ahead of Pokey, but by a slightly smaller margin in the Twitch poll. We should do Hassan and, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's not a bad idea. We should do Hassan and Destiny. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Let's see. Is Destiny streaming? Let's see. That's not a bad idea at all. No, he's offline. He's offline, so we can't really do it. We can't really do it. It wouldn't be fair. Okay, folks, over on Twitch, the audience prefers Hassan over Pokey, at least today, by a roughly 2-to-1 margin. Oh, his power went out. Oh, that's interesting. And over on YouTube, by basically the exact same 2-to-1 margin, the audience prefers Hassan over Pokey. So I don't know what, if anything, we've learned from that, but we've learned something. We've learned something. Oh, is Vaush streaming? Let's take a look at that. That might be a good one to do. Vaus. Oh, Vosh. Here we go. Okay, let's do the exact same thing. Let's run one more. I think that's actually not a bad idea. Let me say, we're going to look at videos of Vosh and Hassan and see who people prefer. Let me get these set up. Which streamer is more entertaining today? And it will be Hassan versus Vaush. And we will also do it over on Twitch. Which streamer? All right, this might be closer for my audience. Let's take a look at a little bit of each of them. Okay, here we go.
Sake, with the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. Artemy and Pigeon are the before and after of Vosh's Fit Ian arc. True. Except I'm just as hairy as ever. Yes, Atun Shea has some really good videos. Deepak is having you in the VS. What does that mean?
Oh, God. Let's get away from that. Let's see what's happening here.
In Austin, dating fucking models. He's like one of the most like famous anti-vaxxers. In the UK, they were like, all right, bro, we're fucking up, yeah? Fuck this guy. He's no longer a doctor, yeah? Get him out of here. Get him out of here, yeah? And then he fucking came to America, and now he's just killing it, dude.
All right, the poll has started. You can vote now.
Anti-vax guy.
We'll go back to Vouch for a moment.
Any decades later. True. Anyway, yeah, the fucking Unru's mod is very funny. Schlep and Live, thank you for the 2 gifted tier 1 subs. We need the Bing Chillin' emote. Yes, we do need a Bing Chillin' emote. That would be good. Yeah, there are a couple of emotes that we need to add, I think.
All right, and then back to Hassan. Voting is happening.
New clothes piece, and then ended it by saying, by the way, the Emperor's tailor was incredible.
Ooh, this is much closer.
That Nike stitch. And to give Dr. Oz the benefit of overwhelming medical doubt, he seems to be standing by some of his claims.
I actually do personally believe in the items that I talk about in the show. I passionately study them. I recognize that oftentimes they don't have the scientific muster to present as fact.
But that's the whole point. You're presenting it.
All right, back to Vouch. Voting is happening. Well, they're both talking about Dr. Oz.
Picked off his political candidacy. Oh, shit, that's right. I need to talk to Gregory Harden. I've taken forever to respond to his email because I'm a cuck. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Okay, I'll go back into the archives. I had to do that. Goldenrod, thanks to $5. Dog, my teacher got Destiny on her wall. WTF. What is this? YouTube Shorts? Why does it look like this? He DM'd me in a Discord invite recently.
All right, back to Hassan.
Dietary supplements in the US are shockingly unregulated. There are 2 agencies who theoretically oversee things, the FTC and the FDA. The FTC is supposed to regulate the marketing of supplements, but by their own admission, they give great deference to the FDA on whether a company's health claim can be supported. The problem with that is the FDA has little authority to investigate.
Hassan's mic is just flopping in the air like a wet noodle.
Sure, it's like the Coomer pick too. It's like him looking at his monitor after ejaculating for the 8th time that day.
Okay, we're gonna have to get away from this. What is happening?
Destiny up on there, man.
A teacher has a picture of Destiny on the wall?
Good baby. Oh my God, so stupid. Ooh,
okay, all right. Whoa. Oh, I thought that was some kind of weird porn for a second. That was weird. Okay, back over here.
To their congressman.
More people wrote to Congress about the supplement bill than wrote about the Vietnam War.
What?
All right, guys. So between Hassan and Vouch on Twitch, it has been a dead heat 50-50. Over on YouTube, Hassan easily taking it at 60+%. So that's interesting. That's a difference. The YouTube audience seems to prefer Hassan, whereas on Twitch, it was much, much more mixed, apparently. So that's the takeaway. I don't know necessarily whether we've learned anything, but I sort of hope that we have. I want to say thank you to Jen here for gifting and resubbing. Very much appreciate that. Numbers 26 and 27. Very, very important. And okay, yeah, let's get back to the voicemails as we were doing before. Let's see what we've got coming in here. Let's do normal voicemails. Sometimes people in the audience love it when I do normal voicemails, and then you realize there's a reason why I'm curating them.
Hi, Mr. David Pacman. Here's a question that hopefully, as busy as you are in so many topics, you can let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about Mark Meadows. Now, not to discount butlers, because Batman had a butler. I'm trying to relate to others. I think his name was Alfred. I'm in my 60s. I've not seen the new Batmans, any of them. I'm a realist. Well, anyway, so Mark Meadows was there for a year, and he's basically the butler, the right-hand man. He's the he takes care of staff.
Oof. People are asking to move on. All right. Normal voicemails. Normal voicemails. We're continuing.
David, this is Walter Cronkite, CBS News, New York, calling to let your readers know about a new novel by Mario Vargas Llosa called Harsh Times. It's a novel about the events in Guatemala in 1954 and the U.S. role in that country. It's a companion piece,
what the hell?
in a way, to Vargas Llosa's magnificent 2001 novel, The Feast of the Goat. Once again, David, Mario Vargas Llosa, one of the great writers of our day, at 85 years old, has produced a brilliant novel about the politics of Guatemala. This is Walter Cronkite, CBS News, and that's the way it is.
That's not bad, except Cronkite's been dead for must be 12 or 13 years or something like that. So, okay, that's something. Jeez.
Hey, David, this is Matthew. What will happen? Like, worst case, it's not in the U.S., which they're saying it's likely, but let's just say it doesn't go in the U.S., but this doesn't work against the vaccines. What will happen? Do you think they would end up lifting travel bans and just letting the people in? Or just say, hey, let's keep it up a little while we can get vaccines working, and then Republicans will go attack them? Thanks.
So we're doing normal, good voicemails. Okay. Let's see.
Hi, David. I say this with love, and as a website member, you need to stop attributing bad takes to mental illness. I don't understand the need to do this, like whether it was you asking if it was Destiny's autism had anything to do with his takes, or that end times preacher and whether she was mentally ill, or like on today's show, how Laura Logan might be giving bad takes now because of trauma.
Well, it's a catch-22 because if I don't mention it, then people write to me and say I'm being hard on someone who's clearly suffering from PTSD or whatever. So like what the caller's referring to, I can even show you what the caller's referring to. Today on the show, on the podcast, I played this clip. Okay, I'll play the clip for you now.
And so in that moment, what you see on Dr. Fauci, this is what people say to me, that he doesn't represent science to them. He represents Joseph Mengele, Dr. Joseph Mengele, the Nazi doctor who did experiments on Jews during the Second World War. And in the
Okay, now, I played this and I mentioned, I should say, whenever I talk about Lara Logan, people write to me and they say, David, you got to be careful criticizing Lara Logan. She was sexually assaulted covering the Egyptian revolution in 2011. I don't really know the full details of it, but she is unwell and suffering from PTSD. So I mentioned, I know some people will say this, and I don't know, but this is crazy to say regardless. This is an outrageous thing to say. That's what it was. You know, the other one was the woman talking about Xerxes. Where is it? What's her name? End times. Yeah, this one. Okay, where I said this is supposedly religion, but it actually seems to me like mental illness.
After Derek and I got married, one night, this other Derek appears in our bed.
Right.
The real Derek is lying down next to me. Other Derek sits right up out of him. It startled me. I knew that was not Derek. And so I asked this critter, who are you?
Right.
Because he clearly wanted to have sexual relations.
Whoa.
And he said, come on, I'm your husband. I said, who are you? And he had the nerve to claim to be.
Like, I showed this video to my dad, who's a psychiatrist, and he said, when patients would come into my office with equivalent stories, not except it wasn't religious. The only difference was it wasn't about Jesus, although sometimes it was. We're talking about very serious conditions that we should medicate for, right? So, delusional paranoia, schizophrenia, whatever. We're not diagnosing her.
Ahasuerus, Xerxes. Well, other Derek seriously wanted to invite me to use my free will,
right,
to do something that was going to pull me away from God.
You used to just say, I have a headache, but she's come up with something different.
So this last time, I knew he was really desperate. And I asked him again, who are you? He told me the same answer, and I said, I am not going with you. This was an internal dialogue. Finally, I said, I've had enough in my mind. I reached up. I grabbed his face.
Right.
And I said, you are a liar, and Jesus is real. And I pulled that face off.
Okay. And then she goes on to talk about gargoyles. So it's like the caller is saying, don't attribute bad takes to mental illness. That seems like more than a bad take, but let's listen to the end of it.
During her coverage of the Egyptian revolution, I understand a lot of these people have absolutely wacky, out of this world takes, but I just see no reason why we should throw mental illness or try to diagnose people on the spot and say that their bad takes are related to what we think their mental illness is.
Yeah, listen, so when I don't do it, people write in and they say, David, you're analyzing something like that's anything other than a delusional person or a sick person. So then I do say, also, we might want to consider this. And then people write in or they call in and they say, you shouldn't be doing that either. In my business, you can't please everybody. No matter what, people get mad. When I talked about Kyle Rittenhouse's mom and the interview she gave, initially, I didn't say anything about her mental state. Then all these people are in, they go, David, you're criticizing the speech of a cognitively limited woman. And I said, I have no evidence that she's cognitively limited. And then when I mentioned, the second time I mentioned, and some people wrote in and said this, then I got people writing in saying, David, you shouldn't have mentioned that because there's no evidence of it. Okay, that's a life lesson, folks. You can't please everybody. That's what it is. All right, a couple more normal voicemails. I do want to say thanks to Blueberry Babe, Manny, Bionic Bill, ASW, and Elevated Disc Golf for the Twitch Prime subs. Twitch is doing the heavy lifting today. The website memberships are not keeping up their end of the bargain. Okay, let's listen to a couple other normal voicemails.
Hey, David. I'm a big fan of the show. Recently I heard your interview with Andrew Yang. I heard he recently kind of called you out. I don't think he was calling you out as much as he was calling out the people who clipped the video and posted it to him on Twitter. I think he still likes you.
Okay.
Now, I voted for the guy in the primary back in 2020, or 2019 as it was.
Okay, all right, good. Well, yeah, we said that that's certainly a possibility. Okay, let's go to another. We're not curating these, just going back to back.
Hey, what's going on, David? Daryl from Connecticut giving you a call. I want to give a big shout out to producer Pat, to you as well. Pretty hilarious if you go to the member content on your website. You have your daily videos and bonus shows posted. If you scroll quickly, all the thumbnails of you, David, and the different animations of your facial expressions liken a lot to the many faces of Charles Manson. If you Google, there's an animated GIF of him making like.
Yeah, it's a joke. Like we deliberately pick just funny thumbnails of me. Yeah, we're picking like basically the funniest thumbnail. By the way, this is the member platform where if you're a member, you get all of this great stuff, commercial free feeds and the bonus show and all this different stuff. Yeah, we tend to do could my mouth possibly be any wider open in some of these? That was a good one. Oh my God. And the mustache. Yeah, it's an ongoing joke and we love it. So I'm glad that you've noticed that, but it is absolutely deliberate. Okay, let's do a couple of others here.
Hey, David, Eric from Mass. You believe in coincidences, so here's a pretty good one. Same day Omicron is announced is when the Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking trial starts.
Whoa.
Almost like it was deliberate.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it was. Just a coincidence, all right.
I don't even think that that's accurate. Like, I think Omicron, the first big Omicron day was Friday, and didn't the trial start yesterday? So it's not even the same day.
How many is too many for you? Get another booster, brother.
Another booster. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Here's another call.
In answer to your question, Joe Biden will not run for re-election because he's not doing well right now. And I don't mean the fact that he's failed to deliver economically. He also is failing his health. He looks like he's aging rapidly before my eyes.
Presidents tend
He's not
to.
even through year one yet. No, he's not running for re-election. And if he did, no one would vote for him. He'd be too fucking old. And he's proving himself to be ineffective. He and the Democratic Party are done. As far as I'm concerned, they're done. Unless by some miracle, Pelosi and Schumer resign or they retire early.
I don't know what's up with this guy's phone call. He always is clipping, and there's like a kind of like a electrical hum.
Or they step down and become regular senators, and they help to put in their leadership role people that are aggressive, progressive, like Ilhan Omar, Bashir Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or someone like that. Failing that, the party's done, and this country's done. We will become a fascist state. So prepare your passport, David. Bye-bye.
Prepare my passport, an ominous warning. I want to say thanks to Senor Pants, Twisted Hawk, Drake, and Jay Putnam for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 36, a beautiful number. Let's see what else we've got here. Okay.
Oh my God! I don't know if you can hear me. I was the guy in Chicago, but now I'm in Vegas. But dude, you wouldn't believe I'm staying with a bunch of other veterans, and you wouldn't believe the hypocrisy.
What?
Anyway, I was called a heathen yesterday because I doubted God-inspired writing. I doubted it because anyone could say that. Anyone could say that at any time. God inspired me to write this. God inspired me to do this. There's no factual or scientific data behind it. So it just fucking drove me through it. And it went to like an hour-long discussion. But
Anybody understanding this? Is this guy calling from an airport?
This guy was in his 50s. I think it's just a waiting game. I think it's a waiting game until the older people just die out. I don't want them to die. I'm just saying, eventually they're going to die. It's just a waiting game. That's called evolution, David Packman. You know what? They're going to...
All right. We got the next one is from Whitney.
So on issues where you say that the right does not care if it's not happening to them, okay, here's the thing, is be careful what you wish for, because the right will come over and regulate. And it's not going to be in the way that you want them to, but they do care. They just don't have the authority yet to do so. So if you keep holding them up like,
Oh, man, I don't know what she's talking about. I do want to say thanks to Jay Gal and Dr. Gecko, however, new members number 37 and 38 today as well. All right, everybody, we've covered it all. We've covered the Biden stuff. We've covered the Omicron and Omnicron. We've covered the shooting. We've taken voicemails. We've looked at memes and all sorts of different things. I want to sign off for the month. This is it for the month of November. No more streaming, unfortunately. I will see everybody very, very soon in the month of December We are going to do a very, very powerful raid over on Twitch. We will raid. Man, I don't even know who to raid. I guess we're not going to do a raid right now. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to see you all very, very